And we are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I am Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP. And even be center screen if I want to. Look at that. We're a weird little brand that multiclasses in tabletop game design, beard, and skincare alchemy in the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope here at Plus One EXP is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but the most fun way we do that is sitting down with the designers to play those games, and that's exactly what we are doing this morning. It's a little Saturday morning swords and sorcery for you as we play I think the classic game, I'm going to go ahead and call it a classic. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I think it is. That is getting new life breathed into it with its first standalone edition over on Kickstarter, launching next week. That's Swords Without Master. We've got the creator, Epidiah Ravenclaw, here with us. I did it wrong that time, but I didn't slow down. I'm just going to call it out. Epi, why don't you tell people who you are, what you can do, and tell us, for people who couldn't join us last night, a little bit about Swords Without Master.
Sure. I'm Epidiah Ravenclaw. Wait, no, did I? Ravenshaw?
Ravenshaw.
Ravenclaw. Yeah.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah. I am a game designer. You probably, if you've heard of any of my games, you've heard of Dread, which is the Jenga horror game. But today we're going to talk about Swords Without Master, which is a game that came out. Last night I stumbled over how long ago it came out, and you would have thought in between I would have researched and found out. I think 2011, I think somewhere in there is when it came out.
That sounds right.
But when I originally put it out, I put it out in my magazine at the time, my sword and sorcery fiction and gaming magazine, Worlds Without Master. So it was in issue 3 of Worlds Without Master for a long time, and I forced people on the internet to say that over and over again because everyone kept asking me when it was going to come out in its own edition. And it turns out after like a decade or so, I get around to it.
Here we go.
That's what we're going to do.
Super excited. If you want to go follow the campaign, if you're not yet for some reason, head over to ttrpg.link /swords WO Master. That link's right down at the bottom of the screen. It's also linked in the description of the video if you want to go just click on it. But super excited to dive into play. We have the same crew returning from last night. If you missed last night's stream, you're not missing anything because each of these streams is a totally self-contained story. We may have some crossover for characters and things like that, but it's classic swords and sorcery style where we are just telling stories each episode as we go, regardless of what happened in the other times. So let's meet our other players, though, for today's stream. Quinn, let's go first with you. Tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online.
Hey, hi, howdy. I'm Quinn Blackwell. I am a writer and I design TTRPGs as well. You can find me pretty much at Quinn Blackwell. Usually I'm floating around Blue Sky. Not really many other places that I'm at right these days. That's my endless scroll of choice. Outside of that, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Keep it nice and simple.
You can get Quinn's game, Wolves on the Lake and
Wolves
Blueberry
at the
Wine
Lake.
over at the Plus One site or on Quinn's multiple locations. We've also got Salt the Earth coming out soon and some cool new stuff coming up for Zine Month, too. So speaking of cool stuff and cool people, Chrys, why don't you tell people about yourself?
Hi, my name is Chrys Sellers. I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me online at hecticelectron.com. I'm at Hectic Electron just about everywhere on the internet, especially Blue Sky, Tumblr, and Instagram. And yeah, I'm a game designer. I've got a different sword and sorcery game called Defy the Gods coming out this spring. And after that, I'm working on Raccoon Sky Pirates.
Awesome. You can go check out Chris's game, Defy the Gods, at ttrpg.link/Defy the Gods, because that link will still work also, too. It'll take you to wherever the best place is to find it right now. So if you're a Swords and Sorcery fan, go check it out. We also have a stream of it that we did, a 3-part stream that we did last year for Defy the Gods. We had an absolute blast, so go check it out if you love Sword and Sorcery themes. That said, normally we have a safety conversation right now. We had that conversation yesterday, so I just want to pause with people and say, is there anything we want to update as far as lines, veils, any other part of that conversation to make sure we're all comfortable as we head into play? Cool. All right. Well, then that said, Epi, I'm going to hand things over to you. Talk to us about how we're starting session 2.
All right. Yeah. So I won't go over all the rules like I did last time. We'll go over them as we play. But you could do. There's a bunch of different ways you can do multiple sessions in Swords. There's some rules in the. It's funny that it was like just like 30 pages in a magazine, but like there's an advanced game in there that has like rules for like doing campaigns, and a lot of that just involves like negotiating with your fellow players ahead of time, like the style of the game you want to do and what you want to. But in this case, like it works perfectly fine to just do this like episodic or not episodic, but like wait, no, that's episodic. Yeah, where like there's not necessarily a chronology going on here. So we're going to play with at least 2 of the rogues we had last night, who, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but they met a fate, let's say. They met a fate last night. And so maybe we're going back in the past. Maybe they have escaped the fate that they met last night. Who knows? And then we also have Quinn's new rogue, which I'm excited to see what
I'm watching it take shape over on the character right now. There's only 2 things that I know down, and they're already making me very excited.
Oh, yes, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe to just take up some air while Quinn's doing that, I can just recap what's needed to make a rogue.
Yeah.
You think that's...
We can even let everybody watch Quinn do it, so they can be super self-conscious about that. But yeah, go ahead and talk us through what are the choices we're making when
right. So you're gonna need an eidolon, which is a thing from our world that reminds you of your rogue. Typically, it's an illustration, but it doesn't have to be. It could be literally anything. For some reason, it popped in my head. It'd be fun if everyone brought like a different animal, like, but that could be chaos too. We were just talking about cats earlier, I think is what put that in my mind.
I have a chicken.
Yeah, there we go. I did play a game of this where we one of the characters was a giant bird that was a detective. So a chicken would have been a great eidolon for that. But anyways, the point of the eidolon is to just kind of like I said, remind you of your rogue. It gives us something for us all to kind of focus on. One of the reasons why I came up with it is that I was, this game is a very narrative focused, but I love miniatures and I wanted like a reason to go out and buy a mini, right? Like this is like, oh yeah, I'll buy a mini and use that as my eidolon for the character. The next thing you need is all that deserves a name. This includes the name of your rogue. These are the things that are important to your rogue. They could be anything. You don't necessarily have to give them a name, but like the idea is that they're important enough to your rogue that you, the player, are going to have some say over their fate. Like I can't, as the overplayer, I can't do something that fundamentally changes them and therefore fundamentally changes your rogue. In a way that you're not comfortable with or you just didn't want, right? Like, I encourage people when we play the game to be open to these sorts of changes, but also I totally understand sometimes like somebody's like, and then your favorite pet is dead, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, beyond just safety tools or anything like that. Like, it just doesn't work for my character. That said, I also do want to be able to like threaten these things. I want to be able to like motivate you by putting them in danger without actually literally putting them in figurative danger. That was a tortured way around that, but okay. Then we have the feats heroic. There are 2 feats heroic. for each rogue, one jovial and one glum. Jovial and glum are the tones that we'll be playing in whenever we roll the dice. They will determine what the tone of our narration will be. The feats heroic are examples of things that your rogue might do. They're not necessarily things that your rogue always does. It's not, but it's something your rogue could do or might possibly do. During the game, if you make a roll that you just don't like the result of, you can turn to one or the other of the feat heroic. Choose that, you'll be in that tone, and you'll do the thing that's on your feat heroic. The rule for that, I don't think I got into that yesterday, but we didn't need them yesterday. I think we had like one moment where we might use them, but we didn't. The rule is when you use a feat heroic, you have to cross it off, and then before you can play that rogue again, you have to write a new feat heroic for it.
Oh.
So that's just kind of like a momentum, a movement to somewhere slightly different from where your rogue was. And finally, we have the trick. There are a number of tricks in the game that all interact with the different rules of the game in different ways. We're sticking to like the three simplest ones because these interact with all the different rules of the game. It's a combinatorial nightmare going over them live, right? Like you're like, okay, now I'll explain all the rules, and now here's how we break all the rules. But the three we have here is we have one trick that allows you to force a discovery phase to happen, and another trick that allows you to force a perilous phase to happen, and one that allows you to force a rogue's phase to happen. And then in those, there's like something that you want to see in that. Like it's a thing that you want to fight in the perilous phases. A way you want to discover or behave in the rogue's phase. I had a thought in there. Oh, I was going to say that one of the things you do when you play this game multiple times is that you can rebuild the character you respec the character from scratch every time if you want. You don't have to, but like it's aside from if you use a trick, you need a new trick, and if you use a feat heroic, you need a new feat heroic. But it's a fun way of just being like, no, this character's different here. This character has changed, or in the case that might happen today, this is how the character was before in the last adventure, before they changed. Coffee. Yeah. And I guess I've been calling them rogues. I think yesterday I described that they, just to avoid the confusion with the common understanding of the word rogue, these are not necessarily thieves, although they absolutely can be, and at least one of them definitely was last night. But they're rogues in that they're not part of they're outside of the hierarchy of society, right? Like they're not kings, or if they were, they're now dethroned, or trying to return to the kingdom or whatever. And they're not like serfs. They're not beholden to some higher up. This is kind of a thing that I say in the rules. Is this makes them dangerous and useful and sexy and like all the things that we associate with these sword and sorcery heroes. Like they walk into a town, the status quo is not going to remain the same, right? Like, that's their purpose.
Excellent.
They're also heroes, but in the classic sense of being able to do great deeds, not necessarily morally. Well, they can be, but like they're not necessarily the good guys.
There we go. All right. Excellent. I think everybody has updated their stuff. Do we want to go through it real quick?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. You want to introduce your rogues?
I'm resizing the screen in order to get it where we want.
Oh, we've got new
let's have Kulani go first, actually.
Sure, yeah. Kuliana is
Juliana, dang it.
yeah, yes, yeah, yeah. Sorry,
It's
it's a
just
tough
like
one.
Juliana, it's just with a K.
Oh
It's
yes,
not hard.
yes. There you
It's
go.
yeah.
Right. Um, I yes, I'm a sword woman. I have a sword from my father, a recipe from far off home, a stolen bronze opium weight, which is my eidolon, and a lucky silver coin. My jovial feat is to make a fast friend over wine, and my glum feat is to shut out everything but the battle. I have a trick to force the perilous phase, which is to destroy a choke point.
Mhm.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Quinn, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I am playing a different character, a different rogue. This one is named Marrow, the Great and Powerful. The things that deserve a name are a dusty top hat, several doves, an endless pocket scarf, and a magic wand. The feats heroic, the jovial, is pull something out of my hat, and the glum is put something into my hat. And lastly, my trick is rogue, and it is disappearing act.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
love it. I have a question in the serialization of our characters' lives. Is your guy intended to be a little man outside of time, or is it just like it's never addressed that this is kind of a Regency era magician?
I think that he's just a charlatan that is kind of like slap things together.
Love it.
So we would recognize this as like a stage magician, but I don't think that other
But in the
people would
narrative, that
recognize
is
them as.
just how that like that's a like little wink at the reader, not a
Yeah.
gotcha. Cool, love it. I've updated Thrag a little bit. I changed my Eidolon to an actual image from what I mentioned yesterday, the Cape TV show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a very short-lived, I think it was only one season TV show called The Cape, which was a guy has a cape that I think he was a cop, unfortunately, who finds a cape and becomes a vigilante. It is very like pulp vibed, and I really loved it, even though it was all bad.
Hmm.
And that's a vibe for a lot of characters that I play. So all that deserves a name. All my items that I have are still the same. My Eidolon's updated a little bit. I kept everything else the same except for my Eidolon. So Scramp the Ferret, a bag of scraps, a long chain that wraps around my body, a raggedy cloak filled with shadow. And then my Jovial is tap someone on their far shoulder and take their drink. My Glum is... Oh, I did change my Glum. My Glum is now more arms than makes sense. Uh, and then my discovery I did keep the same is it was the spaceship the whole time on the trick. So, and I know we talked about we can bring over stuff like threads and
Yeah,
mysteries
so
and
that's-
morals.
That is usually done via a trick. And we if you'd rather like
No,
do that, but there's two ways to do it. There's one where you can do it via a trick, or we can do what's called an over trick, which is a trick that the over player gets to do. This is all advanced game stuff, which I have no qualms doing, but I will have to open my book and read them.
it's totally fine.
But if there's one you want to bring forward, we can just do that. And the trick is to just indicates that you put it down and it can be reincorporated like it previously was able to be reincorporated.
Yeah.
So
The one I was actually looking at, like just bringing over from the top, is just Kuliana's still has that otherworldly sword. So I was actually just looking at otherworldly sword that cuts swath through lesser weapons. Felt good as an absolute to kind of bring over also.
yeah. Oh, okay.
I,
So
I actually changed since this seemed to me like it'd be earlier in our story. I changed it to be a sword
never
from my
mind.
father.
Never mind then.
Yeah.
We're leaving it behind.
Maybe I'll get the
All right.
sword on this
We'll
adventure.
find out.
Who knows? Yeah, we'll find out.
All right. Well, then I'm good.
all right. That's great. This is pretty early, and I was gonna, like I said, I normally ask for like if people need a bio break at this point, but
I'm
if
good
we're
to just
good to go.
dive in.
I'm good to go.
Me too.
All right. We're gonna roll some dice. We're gonna find out where we are. So, I guess I should despite the fact that I'm playing with you, there's people that are probably watching it who have not played yet, and we could all use a reminder. What I'm doing, I'm the overplayer. I'm the person that sits in the GM role, roughly. I'm rolling 2 dice, 1 glum, 1 jovial. I got glum. Oh, that's new. Yesterday I was rolling jovial for almost everything. So that sets the overtone. That's the tone that I'm in, and the rest of the world is in at the moment, or at least the rest of the world that's immediately surrounding our rogues. And so that's going to inform my narration here. The tones, like I said before, they're glum and jovial, but they're not like we're interpreting. Those are umbrella terms. Like glum is everything that's cool, quiet, moody, dark, could be sad, but it doesn't have to be. Jovial is loud, bright, vivacious, could be happy, but it could be, there's another example I like to use is that like you can be raging and like you can be very angry in both, where like a jovial rage is clearly screaming and like shouting and shaking, and the glum one is the scarier version where they're just very quiet and giving you that look, and you're like, oh, I've messed up. This is all right. So part of what I do is I tell us where the rogues are, what's happening, what phase we're in. We got 3 possible phases. Let's start off. I'm going to start off with the rogues phase again. This time, I am going to if this is cool, we can just assume the 3 of you have been adventuring together for a little bit. Yeah, we're going to start off in a situation where you're okay. You're in a it's nighttime. There's this ancient, like before the time, like all written time burial chamber that's like high up on this mesa. There's the night sky above you. The chamber itself is just like this towering, like, oh, I was gonna just make it like we'll make it like a hexagon shape, like almost like the Giant's Causeway or whatever, the basalt kind of. But this one is like big enough for like the size of almost this like the hex itself is like as big as like several houses each side, right? Like it's and it towers up into the sky. You've climbed up the outside of it. It's almost completely without any like anything to grip, or it's been a long and arduous climb. The 3 of you have, and you've reached the top, and looking down into it, you can see like there are 6 giant like sarcophagi that are like arranged so they're pointing at the corners of the hexagon, and there's something in the middle, and you could just see this because the moonlight is just kind of coming down. I need to give you a thunder, which is a distant threat that may come about. So this mesa that you're on is doesn't have any vegetation on the top of it, but the ground below it is like a forested thing, and inside that forest you can see the glow of torch fire. Like there's a large gathering of people headed your way. Perhaps they've discovered what you're up to. Who knows? Like I mentioned last time, whatever I describe as the thunder, whatever I leave out of that description, you're welcome to put in if you want during your narration. Like anything I don't say is there's nothing set in stone if it's just in my head. If you don't know about it, if you haven't heard about it, you can't. There's no need to worry about destroying my idea of what the story should be. I think this group gets it, but I just want to let everyone know that that's a. All right. So we're gonna do a rogues phase. A rogues phase is I hand the dice to one of them and make a demand. It usually starts with show us. and that demand is to just see something from their rogue. And I am going to hand the dice to Marrow because I want to show us how you descend long before the others do.
Alrighty. So I roll.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. All I needed was a different character. It's a lie. I still rolled 4-1 Glum.
Well, you did. You succeeded.
Yeah. I did the thing.
Yeah.
Um, and it was show us how Marrow descends quicker than the others.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I like the idea of almost being a little too a little too magical,
Mm-hmm.
and like not being able to control the things that he has. Um, so I think that is there like is there a window that we're at?
It's okay. Yeah, I think I had a vision in my mind, and then I just didn't fully describe. Like it's like this hexagonal column, but those are just the walls. So now you're at the top of these walls, and you're looking in, and it's hollow all the way down.
We've
All the way down.
crested
Oh,
over
boy.
the top of this
Oh
giant
man.
hexagonal wall shape.
Yeah, I apologize. I had this developing in my head, and then my brain stopped sending signals to my mouth, as it sometimes when it's smart, that's what it does. But
I I think that Marrow pulls his hat down
Mhm.
and kind of like somehow contorts himself into it, and the hat just tumbles forward onto the ground, and then he just like slowly like crawls out of the hat once it's hit the ground.
that's wonderful. Yeah.
And I
Put yourself in your own bag of holding, right?
yeah.
Uh, so, uh, if nobody, this is the rogues phase. In the rogues phase, anyone can say, "Hey." Once you're done with your narration, anyone can say, "Hey, we're done with the rogues phase." If no one wants it, you go ahead and make a demand of someone else, which starts off with "Show us how blah blah blah." You can even make a demand of me as the overplayer to like, if you want to know more about what's happening in the world. But before we do that, I really love this image. So I'm going to put this as our first motif, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of like the best way to word it, but like I like the tumbling. I think that I can't think of the best. Like I love the image of this hat just kind of like softly falling down while the rest of you are at the top of this giant wall here. All right, sorry, go on.
Yeah. And I then pass the dice on.
Yeah, and you make a demand. You say, "Show us this. Show us how you do that." Or
I I I don't think we made any demands of you
okay,
last time. So I think I might do that.
yeah,
I show us how show us how the timer that we have is actually inside the tower instead
Oh.
of outside as we had expected.
all right. So let me just kind of get like you had like a thing to just let you know when you. Is this like an actual physical timer that you had, or is this like your indication
No,
Like our
that
time
like, you
limit.
should be?
Our,
Yeah, more so like we need to get in and
Yeah.
get out and do what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing.
that our big time constraint is actually inside somewhere. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. At the center of this at the bottom of this column at the center, there, like I had described these coffins, sarcophagi, that are radiating outward from a central point. The center of it is this ornate carving in the stone that is clearly like a description of the sky itself, and part of it. Oh, I was gonna make it like a. Right. So, but normally, if you have a description of the sky, it's made out of lovely curves and arcs, right? Because that's the spheres, and they move around. But all of these are angular, just like the hexagonal walls. And there's this across it. There's this giant, portion of a hex, and the light, the shadow cast from the shadow that the moon casts. The moon is casting a shadow, so there's a light part and a shadow part, and that makes the same shape, right? The same angular shape, and it's slowly moving towards where it fits within this hex. So this is like, and I guess like at the point where it fits in the hex, there's like a little, because there's got to be like an indication that this is the thing that like activates whatever. So there's like a little gem there that is dark right now, but like. Obviously, it will glow in the moonlight. We'll see what happens when that happens. Is that good? Does that satisfy your demand? All right. If nobody wants to end the phase, I can make a demand to someone. Then I shall. I'm gonna hand it over to Thrag here. Show us how long it takes you to get down the inside of this wall.
Yeah. Let's roll some dice. If I hit a D8, that's definitely gonna be
That'll change the math.
Yeah, here's a great thing. 5-5. Okay. I will narrate how I do not do not make it down.
This is great too because this will the tone will be jovial. We're flipping the tone because there was a tie, which means you're stymied, you're unable to make it down the wall, and or however you interpret the stymie. I don't want to
I think it's hard to tell what kind of facial expression you get from Thrag, but you definitely get like watching the hat gently float down in the breeze, and then seeing Morrow pull themselves out. You definitely get the non-visual reality of it, some form of eye roll happening, as if Morrow's approach is always a little too easy, and you see. We're at the top of this kind of, I think, narrow wall shape. There's just, 6 to 8 feet at the top of this thing. Thick walls, but not a lot of room up here. We see Thrag back up, run, and jump out into the empty space. And as soon as he goes, you see him apex up, and then he slits, and he has kind of braced himself. You see his cloak billow out. And then all of a sudden, there's an invisible barrier of some sort that he just hits as he goes down onto the level that should be where he would start descending from. And he hits hard, like he was prepared for a long drop and then to figure something out, and he hits just right away and starts rolling down, I think, towards kind of a divot in the middle, and is trapped on this giant invisible field that he's starting to try to scramble up and back out of.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Because this is a thing that, just like a slight side note, this is a thing that I want to make in the new edition, like I want people to like feel free to be like, hey, what about that? Go back and forth about this. I want to know about Scramp when you do this. That's my is Scramp with you when you do this, or is this?
Yeah. Let's see. I think. Yeah, I think Scramp is in there with me.
Okay, yeah.
I think there wasn't like there wasn't enough time or consideration to think like, what am I going to do with Scramp? There's nothing for Scramp to scurry on before that point. So I think which we've established. I mean, I think canonically everybody knows Scramp scurries. Like that's a thing we know. Like it's a classic. Regardless of any other continuity, that's what's going to happen with Scramp. But there is nothing for him to scurry on. So I think he's just. I think he's with me in there. I think we do hear some like angry chittering coming from beneath the cloak somewhere, and we see a small treat get taken out and like tucked into a mouth, and then there's some mollification of Scramp's upsetness at this hard fall and failure. Yeah. Let's do. Does anybody want to stop the phase? All right.
Go for it.
Kuliana, show me how you deal with the fact that your compatriots are split up.
So you're basically on an invisible roof of this whole thing, right?
Yeah, and there's obviously.
Or are you further down?
Yeah, there's no. I think it basically like I jumped up. It's probably dipped down a little bit, so you're probably looking at. You're able to see both of us, but I am. Maybe 20 feet down in some sort of invisible divot that I hit at least 6 feet out from the edge, whereas Morrow dropped down easily into the bottom inside of their hat.
Yeah, I want to say that
You're gonna roll your dice first.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes, thank you.
5 and 4 jovial.
All right.
I want to say that I was already halfway down descending with like a rope, like a sensible person, when you got caught on this invisible, I want to say magical barrier. It's jovial for me because it's literally hilarious. I saw you faceplant like from below, so I'm like looking at you and your cloak spread out and like the little food given to mollify Scramp, and I'm like, wow, that's gonna hurt in the morning. But we are split up, and it's a problem, especially because the moonlight is creeping over toward that gem. So I'm gonna I'm gonna pause halfway up and tie a big heavy knot in the end of the rope and try to throw it up to you in hopes that this barrier is permeable from one direction and that somehow connecting you with the inside can pull you down.
Love it.
Yeah. Dig it. I'm going to end the phase there because I have an idea. I want to point to the threads again. If anyone has anything else to add to the motifs, go for it.
I because it feels good, and it feels, the moonlight creeping.
Yes, totally.
We keep on what are we calling this whole big thing again? Did we come up with the
hexagon?
It's a tomb of some sort. If you just want to like,
yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, across the tomb. Yeah, I mean, I love that as a motif.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to make a discovery phase. This is one of my favorite kinds of discovery phases because it's like, hey, it's an opportunity for you to have found your treasure, right? Like in the classic dungeon crawl sense, you're inside the tomb. Well, 2/3 of you are inside the tomb. Or half. I don't know.
There's a way I'm inside the tomb. It depends on what you're thinking about, what direction you're approaching from.
I'm going to roll my... I am Glum. I'm back to Glum. 2-4. My evidence. And like I said before, we don't have to pick up exactly where we left off. So I'm going to just go a little forward into the future. I think what you've discovered is that where the moonlight is at that part of the top of the tomb or whatever, that the moonlight actually makes that inverted dome, right? So if you can get into the shadow of the wall of the tomb, you were able to slip, go down that rope, right? Like,
Nice.
so like as the moonlight starts to come across the whole of it, you're going to end up getting sealed in, which is part of the timing mechanism. Although we
Oh,
did
yeah.
say that the timer is somewhere in the middle of the tomb, so that something else is going to happen before that happens. But so it's a discovery phase. I'm going to give you some thunder, which is again a distant threat, which may or may not be. But I'm going to just escalate the threat that I had before. We're still glum, so before you kind of saw like hidden a little bit by the leaves of the forest, you saw like a bunch of torches and whatnot. Uh, Now it's just very distant voices, but they're clearly close enough that you can kind of hear them way up on the mesa and inside this tomb now. So they're quiet, to maintain my glum, but they're loud somewhere, right? Like elsewhere, they're angry and they're approaching. They're not trying to hide who they are or what they're doing. All right, so the discovery phase. The way this works is I'm just going to hand the dice to one of you. You roll right away, and you're going to make a discovery through your rogue's senses, their experience, maybe someone that they're talking to, although at this moment they're not talking to anyone. Well, they can talk to each other. Or and then you come up with something, and then you get to ask me a loaded question about it. Some question that doesn't have a yes or no answer, and that leads me a little bit towards something if you want. After I answer that question, I decide whether the phase ends. I'm the only one who gets to decide when this phase ends. That's because I'm, like I said yesterday, on a fishing expedition. I'm looking for where the story's going. But, and this is very important, none of you have to worry about like advancing the story. Just come up with whatever you think is cool. That's fine by me. Like you don't have to be like, what can I tempt Epi with? I'm gonna hand it to Marrow again, largely because you were the first one down. You have the most chance to like dig around inside here. So handing you the dice, you roll right away.
4-3 glum.
Glum, glum,
All
glum,
right.
glum.
Um, so I think that uh I think that Marrow is very surprisingly used to doing things like this, heist and the such.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and understanding that like you need to be lithe and like quick uh to like get in. I think that Marrow like flips their hat inside out and stuff just starts spilling out. Just like bones and tools and just a whole bunch of everything. And like almost like too much stuff and like tries to like force the hat back and begins to like search through this stuff. I think for tools are like a something like a mirror or um something to like wedge one of these
Oh yeah, yeah,
open with. Um, and then I give an open-ended, right? I ask an open-ended.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like you're welcome to describe what you've discovered via this process. You don't have to
Yeah,
like just describe how you do it. You can be like, I found this thing, and then you ask me a question about it.
yeah. I think I was looking for something to deal with the moon.
Mm.
But I don't think that I found it as quick as I'd like. So
Were you,
I think that I just found something to try and crack into these
Sure. Yeah.
graves, tombs.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is nothing in your hat to solve, Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really big mirror.
All right.
Um,
Yeah.
let's
So,
see. I think um okay. I think that so we saw torches or like lights off in the distance, yeah?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um I think that this was something that we had expected. Um and I think that we made earlier precautions
Mm.
for this. Um so how how is whoever is assisting us, how are they blending in?
Oh.
Inside
um.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to like put together so okay. This feels like something that maybe specifically Marrow you set up, right? Because um if you do various acts and stuff like that, you probably work with like a shill or something like that a lot of times. You know, like somebody set in the audience that's going to, even if you do actual magic, they're going to ask you to do the magic and like start the applause or you know whatever. And does that make sense? Is that a good? Yeah. All right. I just want to make sure I'm not like stepping on your rogue there, but like so I think they're out there. Um, for some reason, I got the my internal eidolon for this guy is if you've seen Conan the Destroyer, his little thief buddy that's always hanging out with him and that like just like running around like little frantic and like it's talking in his little whisper voice and you know, people are as they're marching towards the mesa and getting ready to climb up the side of it to get to where the tomb is. Um, he's like saying things like, "I think it'd be better if we wait till morning." Yeah, sort of, you know, like pretending to be other voices that are. Uh, oh, we're both glum though. Yeah. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm answering the question. Remind me of the question again, because I got off on a imaginary
Just
tangent
essentially
there.
like how are they blending in?
Yeah, I think they're dressed like the rest of these people. They're the people that are coming to get you are. Um, I will now have to like I have to solidify this. I think it's a local town, and they're led by like people in armor and some kind of like I'm thinking like tabards, you know, like things that like show authority that are like so it's like a mob that's been rounded up by the local authorities to try and prevent whatever it is that you're trying to do, and um he's dressed as like one of the normal locals, but he keeps like pilfering things from like the dress of the guards. So he's slowly putting together a guard outfit to try and like show a little more authority when necessary. Does that work? Does this fit like a okay? Cool. Yeah. So I'm not going to end that phase just yet. So you can hand the dice to someone else, and they can make a discovery.
Yeah, I am going to hand the dice to Kuliana.
Okay, so I roll first.
Yes.
3-1 jovial.
All right. So you're going to get a moral.
Okay. Something I should learn.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Right. So I'm I'm down there and I am working against the clock. Uh, Maro, you got something out to let us get in to where we need to go, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like a
okay.
crowbar or something like that,
Yeah,
or
like a crowbar or something like that.
yeah.
Um, okay. So I've got this bar shaped like an actual crow. Uh, I'm using the beak to pry this thing open, and I'm prying open one of the sarcophagi, the one we've been told to go to, and inside there is a uh, a mummified skeleton draped in jewels and with rubies for eyes. Um, and like originally, probably they were like set over her eyes, and then over time they just sunk into the sockets. And it's the same color as the gem that the moon is getting close to illuminating. And I think we've been told not to take anything but this necklace, this pectoral that has um, immense, just a lovely inlaid work, gold and lapis lazuli and carnelian. And I've been told not to take anything else, not to take the bracelets or uh, the chain around the waist, and definitely rubies in the eyes. Um, but I grabbed the necklace, but then I'm like, those are the biggest rubies I've ever seen, and of course I take them. So the moral is, I mean, there's so many morals that
Well,
I
you get to
contravene
ask
here.
me a leading question about it if you want. I
Yeah,
can.
okay. Well, sure. I mean, uh, how uh, how does it become clear, whether immediately or some time delay, that I've messed up?
Hmm. Uh, all right, that's great. Uh, um,
Do I work out the moral now, or I'll wait for you to respond?
oh, you grab them, right?
Yes, and I definitely shouldn't have. Yes.
Yes. I think the moment you grab them, like all you see is red. Just,
Mm.
just you like your vision just becomes like a almost solid. Well, like I think there's like a vague amount of shape you can make out, but like largely everything just becomes. And it's like a Oh no, I'm glum. So I was gonna be like a really bright red, but no, it's like a nice, not nice, but it's like uh
Bluish red, like.
yeah, just like yeah, the kind of like a softer, cooler red that like yeah, it's hard to make out any details about anything yet. And it just uh, is. I'm gonna describe it after like optical phenomena as I experienced, where like it starts off with like there's just like a spot right where your eye is focusing that like blooms, and then it like and so at first you're just like I can't quite see, and then as you step what you lose everything including your peripheral vision, like and now it's just like this scintillating red.
What does it look like to the others?
Oh, that's it. I don't know. I don't think they noticed anything. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, like I think you kind of like step back or whatever, and like they can see you reacting to it, but like I'm wondering if you just can't like there's no clear indication to them what's going on. Does that work?
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't see. I can't see
Yeah.
anything. Um, I got the necklace, but I can't see. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could write a moral about that. I'm certain.
Yeah.
Um, we might as well go on for one more
Mhm.
discovery.
Oh yeah. I hand it to someone?
Yeah,
Uh, all right, yeah, I want to hand it to Thrag.
yeah.
All right. Roll them up.
Roll them up.
5 over 1 glum.
Mm.
Um, um, and y'all have got like the the two mirror. Is this exposed, or did y'all go? I'm trying to remember. Did y'all go down into something, or was it you just opened something? This is just kind of at the bottom of the obelisk. I was so far
We're at
up
the
above.
bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
We're at the bottom of the hex, and one of the 6 tombs we opened up.
Um, yeah, I
One of
love
the
it.
6 sarcophagi.
Um, I think because of the like diversion of coming down, I land basically on the far side of the hexagon from where y'all are. I and even like I'm the crowd that has been moving towards everybody. Like I am on the other side of them as I land down far away from where y'all are at. And as I start to kind of make my way back over, I think there are a number of like metallic like plinths set about every 20 feet that I keep on coming across. And they gently like they gently hum at different frequencies. And it seems to intensify as I move from one to the next. Like they rise up in pitch and then drop down in pitch, and they rise up in pitch and then drop down in pitch. And I think the question that I want to ask is the leading question that I want to ask is how how do I know that the tones of the plinths give the people who live here supernaturally long lives?
Oh. This is good. Okay. Um, there's a thing that's happening where, as you go along, the tones at first you're like, okay, that's odd, like it's not what I expected any of this stuff to do. But then eventually, like the notes and maybe the notes even have different like beats to them, like different patterns, so that as you get more of them, it starts gathering into like a more intricate polyphonic kind of pattern going on. And that triggers a memory where you're like this is an earworm. I've heard this song before. And then you remember years ago you were at like a nameless tavern, like many in all of this fantasy world, right? And there was this guy, this very like impossibly old guy, who was sitting there and would talk to people in the tavern, but every time he wasn't talking to someone, he'd be tapping out this this beat and humming different parts of this song, and the rumor was, like, nobody believed it, but the rumor was that he was 600 years old, right? Like everyone was like, my grandfather knew this guy and his grandfather before him, like that kind of like, and so it and the song itself was just kind of like a thing that people would like. It's just, oh man, I want to give this guy a name, and the only name that's popping into my head is Larry. Lar. That's Lar, and that's Lar and his song, right? Like that's he comes from this faraway land, or whatever. So, sorry. So I think it's like the pieces of the puzzle start popping together as you can, as you go around, you're like having this memory, and then like the distinct image of Lar in your head, and then you're like, oh, wait, oh, this is the song. Does that work? Does that
That's
answer
great.
your
I love
question?
that. Yeah.
I'm ending that phase. I like where we're going. I'm gonna start a new one. I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna do that before I decide the fate. I'm glum again. Can't wait to get back on the glum again. Just quick point to the motif here if anyone wants to throw anything in the motif.
I mean, earworm song feels like it should go in. Let's see.
Okay.
Or let's see.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. And if you have more, go ahead. Like, you can throw in the motif at any point. There's no need. I just want to remind people in between so that we're not forgetting it. Okay, so I'm going to, again, advance this just a little bit forward in time. The situation is Kuliana is blind. Well, almost blind. Yeah.
Yeah. Legally.
Yeah. Can't drive.
Right.
But you've acquired what you've come for. This it was like an amulet. It was like a necklace of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I want to have you, the three of you, ascending the inside of the wall. Now you've left a rope down, so this is like a much quicker thing. Yeah. Okay. So the thunder. This is what's happening. So you're leaving now. You're trying to get out of it. I assume the other two are helping Kuliana and get up the like find where the rope is. Like, you're a rogue. Like, being blind is it's inconvenient.
Minor inconvenience.
yeah, exactly. But as you're ascending this thing, the thunder is that moon shadow, like the liminal state between the shadow and the light, strikes that red gem in the middle of the floor, and then when that happens, I think you're just about where, like, as you're climbing up, you have to like squeeze against the wall because of the invisible force shield caused by the moon. When that light hits, the sarcophagi start to open. Like, all the ones that are in the moonlight start to open, and these mummified, beings sit up, and then they like open their mouths and they start like resonating that song, right? Like they start to like open their throats and sing this ancient song, which, because of the shape of this hexagonal tube, let's just say the acoustics are, I'm glum. Well, I'm gonna focus on eerie then. You can feel it, like, more than hear it. You can feel it, like, in your actual bones and whatnot as you're trying to climb, and it just sends a chill down your spine. All right, I'm gonna hand the dice to. I'm gonna hand them right back to Thrag. Thrag, show us how you get everyone the hell out of here.
Are we rogue at this point in time again?
Yeah, I've returned to the rogue phase.
Okay.
Yes.
some dice. That's 4 over 3 glum. Yeah, I think as we kind of hear this, like noise rise up, I think they've started kind of going up the rope. And I'm at the bottom, right? Like we've got Morrow helping Kuliana make their way up the rope. As this tone kind of starts to rise, we also see, like, I think the folk who live here have also like spread out a little bit, but I think as the noise raises up, like we actually see as it kind of hits them, that like they like all look to the sky and they start to resonate the exact same tone up. Thrag just reaches into his bag of scraps and pulls out some weird looking wax that you would never really want to stick in your ear, and does exactly that for himself. But then we watch his cape like billow up and take on kind of like a concave shape to block out to essentially create like a concave like resonance to prevent it from hitting his folks up above. So it's a little bit more how I get everybody else out, because Thrag is still down at the bottom of the rope, lagging behind, having to kind of hold this position to prevent them from getting kind of ensorcelled by the eerie resonance of this thing, and have them just start singing also too.
Is Scramp affected at all?
I obviously put wax in Scramp's ears also too, just a little bit.
Teeny little ears.
Would be too creepy and eerie, too glum to hear Scramp resonate this tone. I think let's hit it tomorrow. Mara, show us how you deal with the fact that as you get to the top edge, the moon moves perfectly overhead and the entire top is sealed. So y'all have made it to the top now. But show us how you deal with the fact that that invisible seal has fully covered the top of the hexagon.
Good.
Like we're sealed just inside? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like y'all get to the top, and there's a thwomp,
yeah.
I rolled a 5-4 glum.
It's a very glum episode.
Let's see. So we're right there, but it's like sealed over.
If I'm understanding correctly, and like absolutely, I'm not the authority on this, but like I feel, because you talked about it being like almost like a bowl, right?
Yeah,
like
I think more of a cone,
into,
but yes.
Yeah, so so like there's like, yeah, I like the idea that it kind of comes down. So like at the edges, it like comes right to the very
right
edge,
to the top,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think again, just the way that this character works, he has magical stuff. So I think he pulls out his magical wand and just kind of points it at the barrier and like covers his face and hopes for the best. Oh man. I'm not sure what it does though.
You can leave that to me if you want.
Yeah.
You can in fact just ask me what it like as part of we're doing the rogues phase. You can be like, what does this do to the barrier?
Yeah.
But if you have
I
an
think I'll
idea,
do
go
that.
for it. All right. I wasn't fishing for the dice, but I'll take them. Yeah, I do. I really like this. If you, I don't know if you've read any of the dying Jack Vance Dying Earth stuff, but like a lot of his magicians are very like I have a magic wand. I use it. I don't know what it does. I just point it at things and I hope for the best. And this feels very much like that. So I'm glum. Uh, what does it do? I think all right. I feel like this is the kind of thing where it's visually it's hard to know what's happening because this is an invisible thing, but you're this is the cone of the invisible force, and you're just tipping it up like your wand is like shoving it enough to tip it upwards, as if it were like a real physical object, and you can feel it. I think those of you that are on the rope because it tips, it's pushing against pushing you against the side of the wall. But it's enough for you to get up. There's no reason for me to put any kind of moral on this. I was just thinking I was trying to make this like be bad for you in some way, but it doesn't. Like, this works. That you made the roll. Like, this is what it does. So you've created like this wedge that you can kind of like sneak through or climb through. Yeah.
Yeah.
If nobody wants to end the phase, I can make a demand to someone. All right,
Yes.
let me make a demand of I'm man, I really want to. All right, Kuliana. I don't know why. Show us how you deal with the crowd, the mob that is gathered outside.
Hmm. Hmm.
They are currently, just as a reminder, they've kind of like come up I think there's enough that there's some at the bottom of the mesa, but there's some at the top that are near the tomb that you're in. But they're all staring at the sky, singing out these notes, right? Like that's, I think, where we left them.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I so I figure out at some point that if I take the rubies out of my bag
Mm-hmm.
and put them on my eyes, that I can see.
Oh, yes.
Everything's still red tinted and just slightly different, but I can see what's around me, and I I go out to meet them with my sword drawn, but when they see me with the ruby eyes, they think that I am somehow reincarnation, or that I am one of the figures from the tombs come back. That has
Mm-hmm.
because they are actually climbing out right after us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I think I put the necklace on, and I make out like I am the woman that I stole the all this stuff from, and I open my mouth to sort of fake like I'm singing, because they're all singing, to make me think I'm singing, and I am just trying to cow the crowd into awe so that they won't kill us all.
That's great. I would like to end the phase there, because I think that's a great.
I didn't even roll. Sorry.
Oh, you should roll.
Okay, 5-2, 5-2, jovial. So I think that's still
That feels
applies.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works. Yeah. There was a moment where you were describing it, and I was like, what was the
Something.
tone? I was trying to like interpret it through the tone, but then I was like, I'm not interrupting this. This is good stuff. This is um yeah, yeah. So do you want to change anything, or do you think it fit the
No, no,
tone?
I think that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. All right, I would like to end the phase there. I think we're doing okay on the motifs. I was gonna say that this skeletal throat does a good job of echoing the mummified skeleton
Yeah.
draped in.
Yeah. That was my thought also too.
Yeah. Actually, I just realized that we could just put like a little asterisk on it to just
There you go.
indicate that. Huh.
Ah, hey, cool.
Like over a decade, and I just learned something new about my game. All right. Yeah. Let me start up a new. Well, actually, because we're kind of roughly, I think, halfway through our tones. Do we want to like take a bio break
That sounds
here?
great,
Do you
yeah.
wanna take
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I'll even be not coughing when we come back. Probably not.
No.
We're going to take a short break, and we will be back in just a few minutes to keep on playing Swords Without Master. In the meantime, head over to ttrpg.link/swordswomaster. Check out the Kickstarter campaign. It's going to be going live sometime next week, and we will be back in just a few minutes to keep on playing. And we are back playing Swords Without Master, or as my good friend Kyle Latino always says, swords plural without master singular.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've just gotten out of the giant moon hexagon and are confronting the crowd outside.
Yeah. I'm going to start a new phase. Rolling for that. Oh, jovial. All right. This is perfect. We're gonna go forward a few days. You're in the town. It is now day 6 of a 6-day festival in Kuliana's honor as the returning. Right, like, so what I think is happening here is that you've done the thing. You now appear as if you're one of the 6 kings and queens and you've of old from before and you've returned, and the town folk have like I should describe their town. I think their town is there's the forest that surrounds the mesa. That's and then just beyond that is where they live in these like a lot of dome-shaped. Oh no, wait. They love the hexagon. Let's go with hexagon, like the hexagon-shaped. But they're using wood to build it, so it's not like it's like a natural forming thing. Like they go through the trouble to make their houses and buildings look like it looks like a giant honeycomb, but it's not neatly put together, right? Like you got rambling streets that just kind of go. Some of them are no 2 hexagons are the same size, like because why would you? They're not a uniform thing, but they have you in like a big cathedral like hexagon made out of stone that like has like the high windows and a nice dome over top. It is in many ways reminiscent of what we saw inside the tomb, but it itself, like, none of these people have ever seen inside the tomb. They're just going by like ancient texts that go by ancient texts, like all the way back. So the palimpsest is there, but you can't, like, it's not a exact copy or anything like that. I don't know what state all of you are in about this, but this has been, for this town, a constant party. And now there's just like now there's like it's that point in the party where the only people with energy left are like the really hardcore partier people. Like everyone else is like, I'm jovial, so everyone else is just like nursing hangovers and things like that. But will absolutely like there's song in the street and everything going on. I need a thunder. Um, the thunder is in the 6 nights since, or sorry, the 5 nights, because this is the day 6, whatever it is. The nights since you've robbed the tomb, uh, the song has not been playing. Like, nobody hears it. Most of these people are just like, oh, that's because the new queen is with us. Like, that's, or the old queen was with us. Um, I mean, I really want to. I'm just gonna go with another rogue's face. I think that's just what needs to happen here. Yeah. All right. So we're on to our third motif. We've so just kind of keep an eye out for ways to like echo something from either of the first two. Um, I'm not rolling the dice. I'm handing them to someone. All right. I'm gonna hand them to Morrow. This is what I want to know. Show us um, how you deal with the fact that your shill is threatening to blackmail you. Is blackmailing you. Is threatening to reveal to because he knows what's going on. He's like, hey, you got to let me in on these riches here. If you don't, I'll let everyone know what's happening. So show us how you deal with that.
That is a 6-3 glum.
It's funny
I,
because every time you smile, I'm like, oh, he's glum. That's what's gonna happen. That's
Every time you're jovial, we know you're glum.
yeah,
yeah, I hey,
yeah.
let's see. I mean, I think that it's just as uh I think it's very much just brutally efficient of
Oh,
like of being like, oh yeah, yeah, like we'll get you in on the riches. And it's like, since we're still here and celebrating and having this party and this fun time, um, we will make even more money off of these people and do some type of like show.
hmm,
And I think that it's very much just like uh a similar to like a magician show of like cutting someone in half.
hmm.
Um, but like no blood or anything, and it's just like ta-da.
Oh wait.
Um,
Oh, so you cut him in half.
yeah. And
Oh, okay.
I don't think I put them back together.
Still alive? Is he like, okay,
Yeah,
great, now put me back
that was
together?
my question.
I I don't think he is. I mean, like if he is, like it's
Here,
not good.
yeah. Here's my question: Do you just cut him in? Do you just cut him once, or do you like put him into a bunch of small living pieces and hide him away? Do you stick him in
I
your hat?
I think that's the one. I think it's separate little boxes that are all also in the hat.
Oh my God. Okay. All
I'm
right.
picturing
That's
this
great.
actor,
That is.
Tracy Walter, this guy like from Conan the Destroyer and Repo Man, who's like,
Yeah.
okay, great. Now you're putting me back together, right?
Yeah.
Uh
So, mhm,
like
mhm.
just a
Yep,
head going
sure.
into a box. Like, okay, when does this magic trick end? Like,
Yeah, yeah. This is still part of the trick.
That's great. I love it.
Nothing
I
bad will ever happen from that.
uh a detail that I just want to like kind of throw in for him is that like I think by this time he not only had assembled like the town guard outfit, but like is rising in ranks in the town guard by the time you did
Yeah.
that. Like this is oh, that's good. Good. Uh yeah, so if anyone wants to end the phase there, we can. But if you have a demand, you can go ahead and make a demand of someone else. We'll do the same with the
Uh,
motif here.
I I would like to pass the dice to Thrag and make a demand of uh show us uh, show us how we make our getaway before uh, everyone comes to.
We've got four over to jovial.
All right.
How we make our way? How we get?
Oh, and we've echoed. That's great. That's a great echo. With the being tucked into the hat.
Yeah. The Yeah, I think so. As we go into the sixth night, like I think there's supposed to be a big Kulani's alternate persona. There's supposed to be this big procession at which you like announce and reveal something. And so there is we set up a you see Thrag kind of going around town having a bunch of like hushed conversations in corners with a bunch of different vendors at stalls, like making deals. You see money moved around a lot. It's not quite clear where the money is coming from or going to. There's just a lot of money that is being exchanged every single time. And as we kind of dusk happens on the like is starting to creep in. The sun is like beginning to touch the horizon. The light is orange and the shadows are long across the city. We've set up just a giant party in the central town square. Normally this is supposed to be this is traditionally in the minds of the local people supposed to be a somber occasion, but since the singer has returned, Thrag has convinced basically everyone to pull out all the stops on the biggest rager that we can possibly host, and it starts as the sun hits the horizon, and there are just barrels of mead and ales and other forms of libation and food pulled out into this giant central square, and within 30 to 40 minutes, everyone is just intoxicated. Like everyone is absolutely gobsmackingly drunk. We let them know that as the sun fully sets, that's when the singer will come out and make their performance. But it is under the guise of getting everybody to this party that you see all of us in a cart drawn by two horses, headed out of town on the opposite end of the spectrum. So we distract everybody with a huge bash that Thrag has organized while we move off the other direction. Yeah, I think. Does anybody want to end the phase?
I'm tempted. If you have a demand, go for it. But if you don't, I have an idea of where we can go next.
Yeah, I think I do have one for Kuliana that I kind of have in mind that I think is
Go for it.
Is fun, and that is how show us what you do when unbidden a song starts to pour out of your throat. Like as we hit the edge of the town, as the sun hits the horizon, how do you respond to this song that's trying to escape from your throat?
All right, I have 5-3 glum. I had never been able to sing the song before now. And now it is just coming out and I can't say anything else. So I give myself over to what is stirring inside me that makes the song come out, which is a sudden feeling, like I'm filled with the feeling that the Queen had. That this feeling of lost eternity, deep time, and um, and even though the song grants nearly eternal life, it is for me a mournful song because I have lost so many people. I've lost so much time. I'm like becoming possessed by this queen, um, and I, I mean, I don't want to end up like this. So I think
Did you roll
that.
dice yet?
Oh, I did. It
Oh.
was 5-3 glum.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just could not
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
This is all really
No,
good, but I was like, this was enough. This is also would have been just good preamble to whatever happened. So
It's just very sad. I'm filled with sorrow, and I think I I don't see it, but you all see the actual mummified kings and queens, led by this queen who has no eyes, stumbling out of the forest toward us. We've just been wandering around blindly for all 6 days of this festival, and I mean, I want to get rid of these rubies. So I think I do ultimately see them, and or the queen comes over me and like claws the rubies out of my eye sockets and puts them back in her own eyes, and then my sight is restored and I lose any ability to sing the song, and the song starts coming out of her mouth, and now we're covered in skeletons. So I think that's a good end to the phase.
Yes, it is. Oh yes. I'm just, like I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, like, yes, come on, give me those dice. Give me those. All right. Oh, we're glum. 4-3 glum here. I'm
What
gonna
phase are
pick
we
up-
in?
We're
Oh, yeah.
we're. I'm gonna do a perilous phase. We haven't done one yet
Okay.
this session. You don't. I should just state. You don't need to go through all the phases. You know, like I've ran plenty of games that have just been rogue phase after rogue phase after rogue phase. And Monkey Dome, the game that this is built on, had one phase. It was the perilous phase. Like that was it. It was sometimes relentless, but nonetheless, like you know. But I do want to go into a perilous phase here because I do feel like this is a moment for action. I feel like this is a moment when the rogues' lives are on the line. I love the statement that you're covered in skeletons. So the six kings and queens of the time before are now among you. They are singing their song, but it doesn't come across as a song anymore. It just comes across as is dissonance, right? Like there's something very horrible about this. And the they have in their grasp Kuliana, right? Like because you know they tore the eyes, tore the rubies out of her eyes. So they have, and that I'm going to call the I'm going to call that the thunder, the distant threat. The most immediate threat are the moonhounds. These are hard to figure out the shape of them because you can only see their shape when they're in actual moonlight. Otherwise, they're just utterly invisible. Maybe they're not even there when they're not in actual moonlight. But people in the town are starting to run around. Oh man, I'm glum. Oh, they're not running around screaming. They're in awe. They're trying to figure out what's happening, and these moonhounds are jumping out of the shadow. And once they get into the light, they're physical enough. They're just like the covering to the tomb there. And they'll grab one and just drag it off into the shadow. And you just one by one, you're just watching these people disappear. All right. perilous phase. This is the phase in which I hand the dice to one of you and I start describing bad things until whoever has the dice wants me to shut up. I'm going to hand them to... well, we'll come to Kuliana when we need to. Right now I'm going to hand them to Thrag. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like where to start with my threats here. Okay. As I said, the Moonhounds, like you're looking around and these partygoers who have gone quiet because of the scene that is unfolding, they just don't understand what's happening. They don't like this is, right, you guys were on a cart.
We were on the other, we were headed out of town.
You're headed out of town when this happens, and then like you look back and you can see that the kings and queens are dragging Kuliana away. Just as a slip and struggle, I want to know what Kuliana's doing while this is happening.
Yeah, I am. I'm still haunted by this feeling that was possessing me, and so I am trying to get away, but also kind of thinking I'm going home. That like I should be in this town forever, in the tomb forever. Like, yeah. So I'm struggling just sort of out of habit, but not like able to break free.
I just as a side note, from the 2 adventures now we've had with Kuliana, I love that Kuliana just like very much identifies with the opponent, like or not just like there's like there's loss of barriers here that is great. So they're dragging Kuliana off, and then as you can see in the background, like these people start disappearing as these hound-like figures. I think like in the moonlight, they're just white shapes, like almost like opalescent, right? Like not necessarily solid, but like a shimmering white shape that like grabs something that is 4-legged, has a tail, and definitely has jaws, because that's how it's grabbing. So they just call them moonhounds.
In the shadow, are they visible? Or?
No, in the shadow they just kind of like fade and there's nothing. So they're only can only see them in actual moonlight. Even in like torchlit areas, you can't see them. It's the moonlight itself that reveals them. The town guard have come out, and I think some of the town guard, they're like, I'm going to make this a most immediate threat. I think they've jumped in front of your path away, right? Like there's some of them that are like, the head of the guard's like, all right, he's been eyeing you up this whole time. Like, okay, this is your fault. This is 100% your fault. Like, you will not escape this fate that you've brought upon us. The town guard rush forward to the cart that you're on and grab at. Well, no, they're not going to grab. They're not. They have spears. They're rushing forward and stabbing at you, at Marrow. They're like, if we die here, if we've angered the kings and queens, then we're going to give them your body. That's what they're going to do. All right. I haven't done anything to make you interrupt me yet, so I'm going to keep going. But I'm curious, how do the 2 of you slip and struggle with the town guards here? Like, do you...
Yeah, I think we watched Thrag like fall back, like as they come up with the spears and stab. Like Thrag just basically rolls back and falls into the back of the wagon, leaving the I think the horses like kick up. They can't really go anywhere because of the guards running them. But we've lost a little bit of control of the wagon also too.
How about Marrow?
I think that Marrow is almost doing like a sleight of hand thing of just like trying to distract them, of like pulling the endless pocket scarf out, and that's like
just throwing it in their faces.
I like the idea of like somebody with like a spear just getting caught up in the scarf, right? Like, as they're stabbing at you. Yeah, no, that's good.
But I think I'm also caught up in the scarf as well. So it's just like
stumbling backwards. Oh, and Just rules wise, we've finished all 3 motifs. We're in the end game, so when people roll, they can reincorporate. Do you want to refresher on how the reincorporation is?
Oh, so if we fill it out in a scene, that kicks that scene to be an in-game scene?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry,
I just
yes.
wanted-
Yeah, the moment the motif hits, then we're in the end game. So
Okay.
this is like, yeah.
And I didn't even want to add a third, item to the third motif because I know it would kick off the end game and I want to keep going. But Creeping Moonhounds was just right there, and I couldn't not. Yeah.
No, this is good. This game, I mean, like, well, we can talk about that later.
Right.
There's a thing that I've tried to say with the game with that part there. But anyways, back to the narrative, Epi. Here we go. The danger that's happening. So yeah, you're being pushed back into the cart and rolling maybe out of the cart off the back, stabbing at you. I think they are like drawing blood, but they're not like landing. Obviously not fatal blows, but not even like resounding blows yet. I think the town guard, like you can see in their face, they're holding back. They're terrified. They're like they don't know what's happening really. So I'm gonna then cut to the kings and queens as they have Kuliana and they like the queen whose eyes you stole start to she starts to whisper because she's got her icy grip on you, starts to whisper in your ear, but it's just like it's like bird song, right? Like it's not a language or anything, that it's just like this high pitch chirping thing. And man, I had a description for it, but I don't know exactly what it's going to do. But I think you can feel like it's a spell of unmaking in some way, right? Like there's a great anger in it that it's starting to like, you can feel you lose like some control over your limbs and you start to like separate from your sense of self because of it. Which I mean, I guess that's Kuliana's thing, anyways. Like,
I guess so. I feel like my strength must also be withering away.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
'cause we've got this song of eternal life, and like the opposite is happening to me. Like,
oh, I forgot about this. Like while they're doing this and the guards are attacking you, you can also watch them, not swiftly, but definitely swifter than normal, age before your very eyes, right? Like it's not that they turn into like old people right away, but like the crowd has more gray hair than they did like when this party started, right? Like this is starting to happen. All right, what else do I have to push at to get you to...
I'll go ahead and
That's fine. Like but yeah.
thank you.
Actually, I think I'm gonna use a feat heroic.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I'm gonna do more arms than makes sense.
that's great.
I think suddenly we see Thrag kind of see Thrag gonna pop up from behind, like the back of the wagon, next to where he and Mara are wrestling with everyone, and we see like a spear comes at him and he like grabs the spear, another spear comes at him, he like grabs the other one. Like they throw
Like 4 spears.
they throw a third spear, and like his like the cloak somehow billows up
Yeah.
and wraps around the edge of it, and all of a sudden like there are 6 like guards that he has kind of entangled around him. I think at that, as long as his Mara is okay with it, I think at that moment Mario's hat gets like knocked off in the jostling right in front of Thrag, and you just kind of see him shrug his shoulders and pull everybody towards the hat. Like, so we see like all these wrapped up spears and guards, like, and he just like suddenly like pulls them all in, like throws his way back and pulls them all towards the hat. As we watch like 6 guards kind of go like foom, 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 like into Morrow's hat, freeing us up and kind of breaking their hold on us as that happens. This is a reincorporation of a number of things.
Yeah.
Including person tucked into several boxes, because this is several people tucked into one box, and as well as the other hat elements that we have had through it.
So the way you reincorporate a motif is that you pick one of the motifs and you smash two of them together. We can make that happen, but so let's figure out which one and see.
So walk us through that, because that's the one we didn't do last session.
Yes,
we didn't do any. So talk me through how that works.
So, for instance, just as an example here, if you're doing like the person tucked into several boxes, and you've definitely, that part has happened, then you want to like look at the other two elements and be like, what can I do to bring one of those other two elements into what just happened here,
awesome.
Right?
And it's from that same motif section?
Yeah, it's got to be from like the same motif, the third motif here, if that's the one you're doing. If you're doing the first motif, you might have something,
let me look at that again for a second then. Yeah. So we'll walk through all of them just while I'm thinking about it. So we've got the first motif has tumbling down, tucked into your hat, which we could certainly make work here. Moonlight creeping across the tomb, mummified skeletons draped in jewels with rubies for eyes. We've got the second motif is a tone that grants nearly eternal life. Skeletal throats intoning an enchanting song, and a honeycomb of human bustling around the tomb. Maybe that last one, but that one second motif seems harder to work into this. And then third motif is person tucked in several boxes, which we already talked about, would be easy. An unbidden song pouring from your throat, and creeping moonhounds. First one feels easy, but let's work with the third since we already know.
Yeah.
Person tucked into several boxes is an option. Man, maybe as this happens, so we would look at a person tucked in several boxes, and I need to find another one that we can smash in with it, correct?
Yeah, from those other two.
I think an unbidden song pours from your throat is going to be, because we're not dealing with the creeping moonhounds right now. So I think as this happens, as each of these people disappears into the hat, we get we hear the rhythm and tone of their life escape from the hat, and all of a sudden now there's a different lower tone, a different song is coming out at a low tone from the hat. So then I would rewrite those two motifs, or am I just narratively?
That's just it. That's like your description is the thing.
There's no rewriting; it's just figuring out how the two of them come together. Yeah. So I think now there is an unbidden song pouring out of the hat that is different than the song we hear coming.
That's
from everywhere
great.
Else.
Yeah, and that's why that works that way. Is that it's like there's usually like one that's just very clear, but then we're like we want to just juice it up a little bit.
Cool.
Like how do we do that? Yeah. Wonderful. All right. So now you have the option to end this phase here. If you want to end this phase here, you're the only one with that option. If not,
and that would just mean people narrate an epilogue, correct?
No. We'll just keep playing as normal because at least one more person gets to reincorporate. So
got you.
But you won't get the dice again.
Excellent. I have a weird, interesting game question. If I end it right here, can I use my trick to declare the next
Absolutely.
Phase? Let's do that then, because that does sound fun. I'm going to end it here. I'm going to use my trick, Discovery. It was a spaceship the whole time.
Yes, right. We got there. We did it. But how does this fit?
So this is an interesting thing. One of my most recent discoveries of this game was that I was just like a slight aside here, and I apologize. I was working on doing a version of it where the rogue players all play the same rogue. You're all Conan.
Everyone is rogue.
Yeah, and yes, exactly. And you kind of like take turns doing that, or the same pair of rogues, which is actually I think a little bit more common. But anyways, it made me realize that the tricks, although I've attached them to rogues in the original game, are very much the rogue players' rules, right? They're not like these tricks in particular are like sometimes they are focused on a particular rogue or whatever, but they are just for the rogue player, not for the rogue itself. So, um, yeah, you don't get to make a discovery roll here. That's fine. We're going to start a discovery phase.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to discover that this is a spaceship all along. I'm going to roll the dice here to get our tone for it. It is glum. I'm just pausing here, just trying to figure out like how far I want to take all this. It's glum because we're just a little bit into the future here. The town has been like it's empty. The town is, we don't know why. It could be the hounds dragged everyone off. It could be everyone got shoved into that hat. We don't know. Like this is like the that temple that the town had built, like the one of the walls of it has been torn down and it's open. On the like steps that lead up to this are the six kings and queens of the time before, and they are I have to like, I want to do a thunder here. Oh, the thunder is that they're making they're chanting, they're making their song or whatever, and I think Kuliana, you're enthralled by it and maybe even like levitating, like something that's like very clearly, so now I'm gonna hand the dice to one of you to make a discovery. I really like this feels like the most, you know what, I'm gonna hand it to Kuliana because this is the, you're the one levitating there. So you get to make a discovery about the world and ask us a question, or ask me a question about it. And
so I'm gonna roll.
Yeah,
right?
roll first. Always roll first in discovery.
3-2 jovial.
All right.
Yeah.
That would normally lead to a moral, which is fine. We can make a moral happen. But if you reincorporate, we can ignore the moral part of it. If you
Okay.
reincorporate anything, then
Okay, let's see. So I think that over the time that has passed, when in my mind, all the villagers died because the life was sucked out of them. And now the six kings and queens are looking much more hale and hearty than they had. But they still have the rubies for eyes. And I'm like this sacrificial lamb to make this big, great working of magic happen. But it's been going on long enough now that I have learned the language, like I've sort of absorbed it, and I know what they're using me for, and I really would rather not be in this position, but I just from hearing their chanting over the several days that has happened, I can tell that I'm the battery for this engine that they are starting back up that is deep within the earth, and they just need the. So is it? I can say it's nighttime.
yeah.
I forget if you said, yeah.
Yeah, it's been nighttime, but yeah, go for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. They just need the moon to come over me again, to not again, but to come over me with me levitating in the center of their hexagonal tomb, to fire up the engines of their spaceship, use the last whisper of my life to do that, and launched this thing, of which the big hexagonal pillar is just the nose cone, and so So my question, so I'm trying to work back in the rubies for eyes and the moonlight creeping across the tomb from the
Oh,
first
yes.
motif.
Yes.
Um, I think that there's like uh, there's other rubies that were underground that are now being uncovered with the rumbling of the earth. Um, and I want to know uh, how uh, how um, how do I get out of this? Really is what I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
know. You know.
Um. Oh, okay. I think this is a situation where you're, like you said, because they're operating through you so much, you're learning all of this. Like and because Kuliani has like this sort of that we've witnessed, like this ability to kind of like break down the barriers between her and other people. Like you
Right.
you. It's not that you fully understand like how this spacecraft works or anything like that, but you do learn like the sort of like push gas pedal, it goes forward, push brake, it, like the very.
Yeah.
And so you
The
you
rudiments.
know you know the shutdown song, right? Like the song to shut it down. Like that's like one of the thoughts that kind of is in the back of your head trailing through as they're going through like all the other things that they need to do. And you manage to like capture that. So here's the interesting situation that we have ourselves in. You can't have the dice anymore, and we're at the end of the game because two people have reincorporated. So we either end on that like cliffhanger where the shutdown sequence, but we don't know what happens, or we hand the dice to Quinn, and Quinn rolls one last time and gives us a brief sentence or two as an epilogue. How do we
I
feel
mean,
as
I
a
totally
group?
want to see what Quinn says.
Okay, that
Get
works for me too.
epilogius, Quinn.
So,
Roll first.
yeah. It's happened. It's a 2-1 jovial.
All right.
It's
Oh,
a
you're
Christmas
jovial then.
miracle.
You ignore like all the threads. Like it's not a moral or anything like that. You are just jovial
Yeah.
for this narration, and it doesn't have to be just your character, right? Like you're doing an epilogue to the story.
Mm.
Yeah. I Can I also tie my trick into this?
I mean, absolutely. If you want,
Yeah.
I think you don't. You don't need my permission to do that. This is yours.
Yeah. So I think this entire time Marrow is still thinking about those dogs that like can kind of see and,
Hmm.
like specifically when the moonlight shines through them. Um and is thinking about how the barrier on the top of the
Hmm.
tomb was like basically this same material.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, and I think like seeing everyone kind of getting like pulled in different directions, seeing these six royals um regain their youth. Um, I think that in this moment, Marrow is like all like everything is firing at the same time. Um, and I think this is when I use my trick
Hmm.
and pull out my wand again,
Hmm.
um, and aim it directly at the gems. And using because the gems in the tomb was how the moonlight was like reflected. Like that's where like the moonlight like bounced
Hmm.
to. So basically aiming my wand that was able to propel this like moonlight. I'm thinking that just the way that it like refracts in the gem, um, kind of is just like a flash of light, like very big and bright, and when everything like comes to, the cart that we're in is gone. Like we're just not in this location anymore.
All three of you.
All three of us with the
Okay.
cart.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you
yeah.
for including
Yeah.
me in that.
Yeah. No, it's just me again.
Yeah.
I was
Sorry.
ready for that. I was very ready for Quinn to be like, you
I
know
would
what?
too. Yeah,
All my characters just disappear.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I'm outie. Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Let's do our reaction roll. Reaction roll is a live stream inside of a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game that we just played and talk with them about playing that game. Today we are talking about Swords Without Master. We've got Epi here with us. We just did 2 sessions of it, one this morning and one last night. Each is fully standalone, self-contained, but there are some good character crossovers in it. So if you're just joining us for this one, go back and watch the other one. It's great. But Epi, for folks who are joining us late, just checking out this one, tell us a little bit more about Swords Without Master, and you'll have a Kickstarter launching next week. What are the plans with that Kickstarter?
Right. We're going to take the game from the game's been around for a while. It was originally published in Worlds Without Master issue 3, which is still out there. You can grab a copy of that if you want to take a look at it. We're going to take that game plus a lot of supplementary materials and mini games based on it that I've done over the years. We're going to put it all together in one standalone edition with some gorgeous art. We have a lot of great artists online for that. But one of the things that we want to do with this is we're going to create what we're calling Eidolon folios, which are cards that have the illustrations on it that you can kind of draw inspiration from, either for making your rogues or for just like the world that you want to live. Like it's very fun to like spread art cards out and say this is what the world we're living in is like. This is the scenes from this world, or or just this is the vibe we want. Like this game is very much like drawing themes from other things. And so the Kickstarter will start next week, and we're going to include the Eidolon folios and the book, and also at like some higher end, we're going to have some handmade custom tone dice that are designed to be very clear which ones is glum and jovial. I'm trying to think of like other things I should say about this. Should I talk about like what some of the other game material is?
I mean, you absolutely can if you want to. You can also just, that can be it too. It's whatever you want.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like we're gonna have like each of the phases has their own like version of it. We have a like a murder mystery one that also appeared in Worlds Without Master called Sorcerer's Bloody Sorceress, which is just the rogues phase where you just go around accusing each other of killing a king. Until the sorceress shows up and she solves the mystery, and you really don't want to deal with her. We're gonna have I'm gonna have a tribute to Monkey Dome that's based on the Perilous phase. And Monkey Dome, I mentioned a couple times, but like in the previous episode, that's the game that Swords grew out of. It's not a game you've heard of, but it exists, and it's where Swords came from. And we're going to have just like a lot of supplementary material to kind of give you like in Worlds, every issue of Worlds Without Master had miscellany in the back, which was just a table of 36 things. Like you roll 2 6-sided dice, and they're just designed to be like imagination starters, right? Like you just like get you going. Like let's sit down and do it. And roll to see what holiday we're celebrating right now, or roll to see like what things taste like, or so we're gonna have a bunch of those in there. And we have a space fantasy version that's going to be in there. We have ways to play it with just one other player, so it's just like 2 people playing the game. We have ways, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, that you're going to, if you want to like have all the rogue players playing the same rogue or couple of rogues or army of rogues or whatever, but you don't have like player character monogamy going on there. You're allowed to like share and whatnot. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna stop there.
Those are great.
There's
A lot of fun
more,
things.
but like, yeah.
Super excited. Let's hear from everybody else. This is just our chance to go around, share our thoughts from the game, and ask Epi a question if you have one. Chrys is another sword and sorcery creator for Defy the Gods. Let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what it was like to play Swords Without Master.
Right, my name is Chrys Sellers. I make games through the imprint Hectic Electron, and I did just make a big sword and sorcery game too. It's coming out in May, but it's called Defy the Gods. But I was, I'm really like in awe of the raw imagination that this game sparks, and how much it can zig and zag. And I guess I'm just like how how do you work in the touchstones like of I don't know, like Marrow could be, maybe winking at us as a Regency era magician, but in a way that fits in with the game. Even though I've just played it twice, I don't really understand how the world building emerges. Like everything emerges, like the characters emerge and the world building emerges, and like it seems like a magic trick to me too.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain things that are going on in the game that like there's definitely like I think I talked yesterday a little bit about like the sword and sorcery genre. It's great in that it's very elastic. It can bring in a lot of things, but also that's kind of a problem when it comes to like trying to get everyone on the same page, right? Like you can, somebody might be like, I can't deal with fantasy that has robots in it. And you can have that discussion. You could talk about it and say, let's not do that or whatever. But like sword and sorcery is open to that. It allows that sort of thing. What goes on rules wise, there's at no point in the game you're never on your own, right? Like when you're in the rogues phase, you're answering a demand that someone else made, right? So you got two people who have their hands on the wheel there, right? And then in the discovery phase, you can come up with whatever you want, but you have to ask me a question about it and I get to answer. So again, you have like these two people, and so like throughout there's always kind of consensus building, at least amongst two people. Like you don't need the entire group to like vote on how the thing is going, but you have like two people having a conversation to draw it in that direction. So that's, I think, like a large part of what makes it, like, I agree it's a little bit of a magic trick. I did not design Monkey Dome. I mean, I was part of the group that designed it, but it emerged from us playing it. Like, we just sat down and said, this die is zany, this die is grim, and we figured out the rest, like, the first time we played it. So when I say I don't design it, like, I don't mean like it came down from the heavens, but like it came out of like what we were doing at the table, which we were like, there's a magic here. And I don't like, yeah, I'm years and years later, I'm still kind of in awe in how it kind of holds people together, right? And the other thing, I think the threads help out a lot. Like I think with people saying, like in the motifs in particular, you're just like, yes, I want this. And there's both like the immediate reward of like, hey, I said a thing and people recognized it. Like you feel good about it. But then there's also like what we did with this one. I've got mine on the screen over here, which is why I keep pointing. We only need to echo once, and they're we've covered that with echoes. Like we're like, oh, and that ties into there, and that's what happens, right? Like you just start getting like, oh, this is the theme of the story, right? Like this is the motif that runs through, and I think just we're wired to enjoy that. Like I think people just like want more of that. So as you start doing it, you can't help but do it. I also like when we were Tony, when you did your reincorporation and we were talking about like forcing us to take the one motif and jamming those two together, because it ends up like building more, like that, adding the extra bit to that song of those people escaping or whatever. It just does that little bit of like, right, this is what the story's about, right? Like this is this brings us back to what we're telling, even if we can't articulate what the story's about, right? Like even if it's yeah, sorry.
And I will say, like, to hop in, that style of short fiction, because we have another game in design right now that it's not sword and sorcery, but it comes out of that same kind of like pulp era of writing, and like the stories are oftentimes about cool ideas and not drawing a clear, like there is not an attempt to be like here. It's one of the great things about the morals fitting in here also too. It's like it's not an attempt to be like here is the moral of the story. It's like, yeah, here's a bunch of stuff that happened, and you can walk away from that with whatever you walked away from or not. The characters may or may not have walked away from learning that kind of stuff. But the motif system in this is probably one of the biggest elements of design influence in my entire design process. Like the way that motifs work in Swords Without Master, it comes back to me constantly. Like my favorite games, like the Between, like with the Echoes in the Night and other stuff like that, like those are all kind of motif building concepts that have evolved through play. It's always wild to see how they come out. And then like there was a big event called Over Under last year. People may have heard of it, a giant
on Discord.
And and it was basically about 1,000 people, of whom when they did a poll, 900 something of them, like high 900s, were all people who mostly GM. And so they're getting in there and they're basically doing freeform LARP. But you'd watch huge patterns of human consciousness just kind of ripple across the experience of one person. And this happened to me a number of times. I would make a dumb little character choice. Something later in the narrative of that like little FKR play session would resonate with that. I would go talk to somebody else about it and they'd be like, oh, us also over here, that thing totally connects to this random thing we were doing over here. And then that building with 2 or 3 things and that's across 900 people. Like the ability of humans to just do patterning and just respond to it is so immensely impressive. And I think Swords really is one of the first RPGs to, like, I think it was happening at tables already, but I think Swords is the place in design history where we see a game land on that and just know that people will do that thing, and make an intentional part of design.
And there's like a social contract, like sorry if you could just say, like it's very rewarding to narrate an image that other people pick, add to the motifs, but it's also really rewarding to pick up somebody else's narration and add it as a motif. Like I just really love that.
There's definitely moments in the game too where like I'm hoping for a thing to happen, and when it does, I'm super excited because that was the thing I was hoping for. And then when I'm subverted, I'm super excited because I was like, whoa, I did not expect that. And there's a whole not to get too deep, there's a book on the psychology of anticipation that studies it in music. Right, it's called Sweet Anticipation. Let me just do.
I'll do that for you. You can keep on talking.
Yeah. I mean, I stumbled upon this because, well, I don't need to go into all that. But anyways, it's a neat book, but it talks about like the different ways that we are both rewarded by having what we anticipate come true, because we're like, I predicted it, and we sometimes use that to like, hey, I predict this bad thing's going to happen. And then when the bad thing happens, you're like, okay, well, at least I knew that was going to happen. Like, look at me. I'm so smart. I I don't want to discount it that way because it's just like a mechanism that we all have, but also novelty, right? Like where we're expecting something and it does something else and we're amused by that. But like that feels like both options, right? Like that feels like what else is there? Either the thing we expected or not. And for some reason there like music in particular like does a great job of doing both, right? Like of like
Mm.
setting up like our understanding of like what's going to happen in music comes from like all of our cultural background of the music that we've enjoyed over the years, but then also when it twists, you know, when it does a key change you don't expect it, or the tempo just completely changes, you're like, oh, and that's my favorite part, you know, like that, you know, that kind of thing. And we get that in role playing games a lot. Like it's fundamentally, I think, what happens when we roll dice. Like you're anticipating something and then immediately get a response, and that plays into like those two different ways we look at it. It's been a while since I read the book, so I'm not going to be able to get into like more in depth in it, but it's an interesting read.
Yeah, it's called Sweet Anticipation: Music and the Psychology of Expectation. It's by David Huron. Check it out over at MIT Press. I dropped the link in the description for
Yeah.
anybody who's watching around right now.
I remember it has like a little bit of like evolutionary psychology stuff into it, so I'm just like warning that like because I don't know, I often find like when people start talking about that, I'm like I don't know if that's how that's going to work out, but like there are definitely ideas in it, so it's worth looking at.
Yeah, awesome. Quinn, same question for you. Tell us who you are, what you do, what it was like to play Swords Without Master.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Quinn. I was just having fun hanging out, listening to y'all talk. I forgot that I was here. No, I design TTRPGs, mostly horror. My first game that I designed, Wolves of the Lake, was actually so heavily inspired by Dread, to the point where I don't think that Wolves of the Lake would be a thing without Dread. Um, I don't very much have a question, but just in the same way that all of you were talking about the beauty of like the pattern finding and like
Mm-hmm.
the human mind. Um, I feel like it's almost similar to like language, where like there are languages that have similar roots of like where they came from or like their origin. And from that, you can tell that like uh, Spanish and French, like, or things along those lines, like they have bits and pieces that like it like plays with your ear and it's just like, wait a second, that sounds like familiar, that sounds similar to like this thing or this thing. And like in that same way, I think that like uh designing things, especially in the TTRPG space, um it feels very much like a language that is being built, and there are
Mm.
different branches of it, but like all of it comes from like such a similar like root.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm.
playing this game, because this is the second time I've played this game. The first time was yesterday on stream. But playing this, there's so many bits and pieces that like I've seen like either inspiration or like points of connection that like my brain have like has been like,
Yeah.
oh, this feels like this thing, or like I wonder if this thing was inspired by this, or and like just in every direction. And I feel like that's something that like I I feel like my overall number of RPGs that I've played is generally pretty low, even though I'm pretty good with like remembering
Mm-hmm.
covers and titles and whatnot. Um, but I feel like every time that I dig into a new game, I'm just like, oh, okay, like that makes more sense, and like it's giving me more of the big picture. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I love a game that feels like I mean, just like sitting down and telling a story. And like the dice do matter, but I think that like if you were to like tear it down to like its base parts, like you were explaining, you had the idea that like this die means this and this die means this. Let's
Yeah.
figure it out. But I really like that that exploration and like just kind of like playing to find out.
There's a okay, so before Swords Without Master was released, I did an introductory adventure where you learn it as you play called The City of Fire and Coin, and that will end up in the standalone. But a friend of mine, some friends of mine, designed a LARP around the City of Fire and Coin. And one of the cool things about this LARP was that they basically put folders at different places in a room. The room itself, different places had like labels on it that were like, here are different points inside the City of Fire and Coin, and here are different points in the world throughout. We can run back and forth. People can just go ahead and have scenes wherever they want. It's a LARP designed to have like, I think they call it like a sandbox LARP. So you have like a lot of people that are just playing in character. You go to the where it is and you open the folder and it's a description of where you're at, and you do something, you play something out, and you write like a little note on that description to just as a representation, like kind of like the motif, right? Like you say, hey, we were here, this happened. Then you flip it over and there's the same location on the other side, but it's a different tone. And you leave that for the next person to encounter that place. And so that's how the tones get flipped, and it's so much fun. Like, and it just, there's no dice. The dice are gone. And it's just the, like, hey, and there's no guarantee that when you go back to a place that you'll get a different tone. But there's no guarantee with the dice either, right? Like it's a really neat thing that does a lot of the similar stuff that this game is doing, but again with just more of a freeform storytelling kind of way.
Yeah, awesome. I had a blast also too. This is great. I played the game a number of times. It was great to sit down and play with you. It's one of those games where it's like nothing is complicated, but there's enough going. Oh, none of the mechanics are complicated, but there's enough variation that like there is a level at which like system mastery really helps. And playing 2 sessions back to back, it was really fun to have a full learning session and then coming back in today and just being like, cool, we all know what we're about. Like, let's go do it. You know, that was super enjoyable. I am curious how what is the longest the most consecutive sessions you've seen people run characters in for Swords Without Master?
Right. Yeah, no, it's an interesting question. I've early on when I was running a lot of play tests and just kind of getting to know the game before I released it in Worlds, we did a bunch that were like long-term campaigns, but long-term in the Swords way. So
Right.
like 5-6 sessions or something like that, you know. A lot of fun things kind of like, because sometimes we'll be like, hey, we're going to do a trilogy. We're going to do like 3. And then we get to the second one and we're like, okay, this is the dark moment of the trilogy. So before we end, one of these rogues has to die. And watching everyone fight to be the rogue that dies was something I did not expect, but like amazing. So like, and there's definitely ways like to do that. I used to do Sunday morning swords, which was I mentioned in passing at the last time Thundar the Barbarian, which is a cartoon from the 80s. I think it's Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, it was formative in my youth, and it was on Sunday mornings when I was a kid. So I was like, this is when I have to find a time every week to play this game so I can like promote it and learn more about it or whatever. So I'm like, Sunday morning swords, wake up, have breakfast with me, we'll run it, we'll play it online. And so we just did a Thundar the Barbarian style world, which is like a sword and sorcery post-apocalyptic thing. It was even more permissible than what, like other sort of, because like I think like last time I said, there, like the first episode, somebody has a train, like this little girl has a train and it's being raided and Thundar has to save her, and so that she keeps her train. I think she shows up later and like is running like a business out of the train. But anyways, it's fun, a lot of fun. This Sunday morning swords thing I ran for several years, almost every Sunday, or as many Sundays as I could. And we didn't have a campaign arc, but we had characters that just kept coming back, and we had themes that just kept rolling in. We did, like, at some point it was established that the whales of this world were sorcerers, and they were like covered in barnacles and just like had these like weird magics, and that just kept showing up over and over. Like once you hit like a detail that like everyone's like, I want to know more about that, like it just keeps popping up. And so the way it holds its campaign together is less about this event leads to this event leads to this event, and more about like this is something in the world and we're going to come back to it, and we're going to come back, and we don't know it in the beginning, but, we just keep echoing it. Sort of a macro of what happens in the game with the motifs and whatnot, like
No,
but that one went on, like I'd say I ran about 100 sessions of that. Wow. At least. But like I said, I would not, if somebody came to it and was like, if they had in their mind the D&D game they played when they were like in high school through retirement, like that has like, all of these intertwining arcs and whatever. That's not what's happening. It's more,
for sure.
But
that's why I was curious, because I think it's such an interesting capacity. Like the narrative, like the advancement happens in you can choose to change your character anytime you want, like, as you go, and in that type of play, that building of the world really is the advancement. Like there is a level of like early light system mastery, but like there is a level of like world mastery that seems like it would be what is really rewarding over the course of play, because you're going to keep on pointing at empty parts of the map and saying, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here, and then eventually we'll know how these things connect or don't. Right. In any kind of bottle experience. So it's, like I said, it's a really distinctively big one. I always just love also hearing whenever people are like, oh yeah, we just started playing it and it worked, right? Like are there a ton of different theories that come into why this? Yes, but like a big part of it is that it does, and even like I mentioned CFB stuff earlier. I'm a huge fan of what it does with motifs. It uses an XP trigger to encourage people to create echoes. I use some of the tech from that in my own games, and I just took the XP trigger out, and people do motif echoes just as readily with an XP trigger as without an XP trigger. And it's honestly like some levels they're like, oh, well, I can just do this whenever. I can just reincorporate whenever I want to. And it makes the narratives really satisfying, and it's really fun to play. And again, Swords just puts that right in the forefront and says, yeah, that is what we are doing. And it's such a huge, like, great. It was great to get a chance to play with you also too. I want to encourage people again to go check out the campaign at ttrpg.link/swords WO master. It's going to be going live probably sometime next week is what it sounds like. Check it out on a crowdfunding platform near you. If people want to follow all the other work that y'all are doing outside of just the campaign, what's the best place for them to do that?
You look for Unwritten Earths Symposium. We have a website, unwrittenearths.com. We have a Discord you're welcome to join, and we have a podcast, which I think Unwritten Earths. I should have the links. I don't have them on hand right now. If you go to unwrittenearths.com, you'll find links to all these things.
Butt Prince over on Twitch does have a really great observation. Quinn just got out, but I do want to say it before we leave. That is, I find the way Swords works is particularly suited to Twitch streaming. Most other games require people to watch each episode to keep up. Not so with Swords. Yeah. Quinn and I were talking at the break. Epi, I've got a question for you afterwards. Like, the reality is you could easily sit down if you had a table that was already very familiar with the game and be like 90 minutes to hours, even shorter. If you're like, hey, we're aiming for 60 minutes. We know what times the game's out. Let's hit motifs hard and move fast. Would be really, really easy to do. And it's highly flexible in how long you want the game to take because you're in control of that countdown process through the motif building. So yeah, it is an absolutely great game for just putting out on air also too. So excellent. Well, we don't have a good way to end the stream, and at this point we're not interested in trying to figure one out. So until next time, we're just going to wave at the camera until I take us off air. Bye everybody.